Hello, hello, hello. Welcome. I am so excited that you are here today. And I want to know where you are joining from. So if you are joining from your computer, you can use the chat box and let me know where in the world you are here from. I know we had women from all over the world sign up for this webinar. And so I would love to hear where you are calling in from, where you're joining us from today. Welcome, welcome, welcome to each and every one of you. I'm thrilled to see that we have people on this call from Bradford, UK. Judy, awesome to have you here. Lydia from Calgary, Alberta, Canada. Awesome. I love that our first two attendees are in different time zones and in different parts of the world. I have spent a bunch of time in the UK, absolutely love it. Studied a semester at Oxford, worked at the London Olympics, have some dear friends that I have visited since high school over there. So just feel a deep connection to that part of the world. Love it. I was just there a year ago and looking forward to getting back ASAP. Sherry from Charleston, West Virginia, a beautiful, beautiful place to be also. So fantastic. Welcome. My name is Christine McAlister. I'm the founder of Life with Passion. So if this is your first webinar with me, I am thrilled to have you here. I used to be a professor at the undergraduate and graduate university level, and so I love to teach. I love to teach you what's working and how to take what's working, take the best information that I have gathered and have tested and give it to you so that you can grow your business. And today's topic, the secrets to selling without being pushy, is so good, right? Because most of us, all of the women I've ever worked with who are high achieving, motivated, driven women, and most of us women in general have a real struggle with selling at the level that we desire. We feel really uncomfortable with it. And what I have learned in my journey of being an entrepreneur for the last 11 years is how to go from completely freaked out about sales to the point where I wouldn't even offer my proposals. I would procrastinate about sending proposals and bids and quotes to people who asked for them and were waiting for them and were waiting to work with me. I procrastinated on those things because I was scared. My first business was a website design and online marketing company. And so I did a lot of websites and became a Facebook ads expert, among other social media platforms for my clients. And I loved working with them. They loved working with me. They would come and stay with me for years and years. And I still was freaked out about billing them for services and sending them quotes and asking them for money. And so I let that hold me back for a long time. And so I have learned a different way now. And so I am so passionate about helping you learn a different way too, because I know how it feels in both places. So on this webinar, you are going to discover how to go from feeling nervous and stuck about sales to confident, clear, and consistently making money. Like I said, I know that this is possible because I've done it, right? And I have been just completely terrified and have also gotten really, really confident. So we're going to cover the surprising reason you're not selling, how to create and price an irresistible offer, the best strategies to book high-level clients online, and the simple approach to take pressure off of you and your potential client. Plus, I've got a bonus step for you. So we have to sell, right, in order to stay in business. We have to sell in order to stay in business. But if we hate it, what situation does that put us in? It puts us in a place where we're feeling stuck, and it's kind of a catch-22. What used to happen for me is that I would feel it would take me getting down to the last few dollars in my bank account before I got desperate enough to get over the discomfort and do the sale. So maybe you can relate. Feeling like we're scared to sell, but knowing we have to sell keeps us stuck. It's a no-win situation. And it eventually is going to put us out of business. Let's face it. Or maybe never get our business off the ground if that's a situation that you're in where you haven't yet made a sale. I used to be so nervous about talking to people about my programs, my services, my offerings, that I would schedule them early in the day just to get them over with, because otherwise I would worry about them all day long. So it was really feast or famine for me, is what I want you to hear. I was so nervous I would only sell when I got to a place of desperation and needing money. I once had an $18K month, an $18,000 month, the month after having a $45 month. So when I say feast or famine, I'm serious. I let it get down to $45, and then I got my butt in gear and had an $18K month. But this is a roller coaster ride that I was on about sales, and I'm here to keep you out of that. I know that there is a better way, and so that's what we're going to talk about today. This webinar is going to be so full of content and very interactive. Like I said, I was a professor for years, and so I love to teach and I love to be interactive with you. So I'm going to be asking you questions, and if you're joining live on a computer, I'll ask you to type in the chat box, and I am going to take live Q&A for as long as anybody wants to ask me questions at the end. That's my commitment to you. I want to make sure you get fully supported here today. And so ask those questions, save those questions for the end. If you want to comment along the way, I'd love, love, love to hear from you. Today, we're going to talk about how to sell in an authentic way, in a genuine way, in a way where you're being yourself, right? Where you're giving value and at the same time being supported financially, because you can't keep giving away value and you can't keep doing this if you don't make money, right? Awesome. So this is where we're going today. We're talking about a way to sell that does not involve you just, sucking it up and using willpower, because willpower is not stronger than the subconscious part of our brain that is 95% of our brain, okay? Willpower is not going to win the day when we're dealing with fear, anxiety, and nerves, because those all live in the subconscious. Those are designed to keep us safe, and those are going to be our predominant feelings until we address them and learn a different way. All right, we've got some other people who've joined us. I'd love to know where you're calling in from, where you're joining in from as well. So feel free to type that in the chat box. I'd love to know. We've got women from all over the world here today. So this is for you if you're feeling stuck, nervous, overwhelmed, scared, or worse when it comes to sales. If you're feeling like you've tried and you've failed and you're wondering what you're doing wrong, or maybe even more than that, wondering or feeling like maybe there's something wrong with you. If you're feeling confused about what to offer, how to price that offer, you're afraid of asking too much or not providing enough value or not getting your clients enough results. If you're worried about living up to people's expectations, which, oh my gosh, you are so in the right place, because I know a thing or two about you if that's how you feel, because I can so relate. If you're feeling like you don't want to come off pushy, then what I'm about to teach you is for you. You may even be looking around going, well, I'm better than this person is, and I'm better than this person is, and I have more to offer than this person. I have more training. I have more skills. Why the heck is she selling and I'm not? Here's the thing. Feeling this way about sales got you to where you are today. So I'd like for us to just all take a deep breath and give ourselves permission to learn a different way today. That is what I'm here to teach you, to learn a different way about sales. I want to help you feel confident and accomplished and like this is finally working. And that's my intention for you today, that you're going to walk away with some things that you can implement in your business right now and in your head right now to help you feel confident and to get out there and share what you have to share with the world, because I know how valuable it is, or you wouldn't be here. Those are the kind of women I work with. Those are the kind of women I support. All right. Let me tell you just a tiny bit about me. I am a successful entrepreneur. I've been an entrepreneur for 11 years. I've started 4 businesses. 2 of them that I started when I was still in my 9-to-5 have grown to 6 figures in value. And in various industries, as I mentioned to you before, I'm also an online marketing expert. And so I use all of these things. I've been a professor. I've been a career counselor. I've also been stuck in a job that I absolutely hated and that drained the life out of me every day, and was completely desperate to get out of. I take all of these skills that I've had, all this training I've had as a professor, career counselor, online marketing expert, entrepreneur, tele-winning freelance documentary producer. I had a documentary that aired on across the PBS network in 2005. I take all of those things and I work with high achieving, motivated women to help them build and grow the business of their dreams, and one that supports their life and not the other way around, right? I'm all about creating a business that gives you energy and provides you money for the other things that you want to do with your life. Because I love to work, but I also know that it's not the end all be all. So I work with single moms so that they can be home with their kids, but still have an online business that sustains them and supports them. And I work with women who want to get out of their 9-to-5s. And I work with women who are ready to grow their business to the next level, to be having consistent 5-figure months. I started Life with Passion because of a personal tragedy that I experienced in my own life. So in early 2015, I was an entrepreneur, and yet I wasn't doing, I knew I wasn't living into my full potential, but I was kind of scared to put myself out there, or very scared to put myself out there and really explore what that potential might be. I was expecting my first baby, and just a couple of weeks before her due date, after a perfect pregnancy, we went to a routine doctor appointment and found out that she had passed away. And so I had to go straight to the hospital to be induced to deliver this baby, who I had already put the car seat in the car for, and now she was gone, and I still had to deliver her and plan a funeral for her at the same time. As you can imagine, this completely rocked my world. My husband and I had never heard of such a thing happening. Of course, now we know that it does, and we know many people who've experienced this tragedy. But in the wake of losing my daughter, Maeve, and the soul searching that followed, I got really, really fierce about what kind of life I wanted to create for myself and for her, and what kind of legacy I wanted to create for her since she wasn't here to do it. And I decided that it was time to get over my fear and make a bigger difference. And so I found that, losing her and her short life really changed everything for me. I've stopped waiting for the life of my dreams, decided to create it, and I started Life with Passion. I hired my first mentor, and all the years that I had been running my own business, I had been too stubborn to ask for help, feeling like I was smart and independent and I should be able to figure it out on my own. But I had hit an income wall and I was frustrated and not sure what I needed to do to grow. I finally got over myself enough to hire somebody who was doing business the way that I wanted to be doing business and to learn from her. And within just a few weeks, my income tripled. Within a few months, I took a 2-week trip to Europe that I'd always wanted to take. A couple weeks after that, we got home from Europe and we moved into our dream house that we had been talking about moving into forever. And we moved out of a neighborhood that had gotten unsafe and moved into our dream house. And so I I did all of these things that I really wanted to do, but most importantly, I got clear on my purpose, and I am now using that to change the world. Helping other women start their own businesses, taking what I've learned over 11 years as an entrepreneur and sharing that. And so Life with Passion exists to help other high achieving, motivated women who know that they're, have more potential inside of them to get the tools and the mindset to quickly grow an online business around their unique skill set. So that's me in a nutshell. All right. I am an introvert, even though you probably can't tell by watching this webinar, because I love to teach. I get really, really excited. I'm an introvert, and I actually have the least likely personality to sell of any of the personalities on the Myers-Briggs, if you're familiar with that assessment. In fact, there was a time that I was looking at a sales job, and I was going to be selling something that I was really, really passionate about, really excited about, but they had me take an assessment ahead of time to assess whether I would be a good fit. And what the results came back, everybody's really excited about the possibility until the results came back. And the results came back like, maybe you're not the best salesperson, naturally. Now, we were all really shocked and shaken up by that because, hello, like, I was really excited to sell what I was going to be selling, and I knew I could do it. I didn't wind up taking that job largely because of that assessment. And when you look at what my personality says on the Myers-Briggs, it's like careers to avoid, selling. However, I share that with you because I want you to know that if you feel like that's probably you too, I have regular 5-figure months in my business, and I know how to do it. And so that's the last thing I'm going to share about me. We're diving right into this content because I want you to know that no matter where you are, no matter how unlikely you think it is, no matter how unconfident you are, it's possible for you. So number 1, the surprising reason you're not selling. The surprising reason you're not selling is because your definition of sales is what's keeping you stuck. Okay? Usually when I talk to women about what they imagine when they think about sales, they think about somebody who's going door to door, or a car salesperson, somebody who is trying to pressure you into buying something that you may not necessarily need. That's the image that we conjure up. Somebody who's high pressure, somebody who is maybe manipulative, somebody who makes us uncomfortable. And because we are women who are here to serve with what we have to offer, we don't want to make anybody else uncomfortable. We're helpers, right? We're helpers. Maybe you're a healer. We are of service with our products, with our offerings. And so we avoid sales because we think it's going to make someone else uncomfortable. We're not selling, or you're not selling, because your definition of sales is what is keeping you stuck. You feel like you're going to be slimy. You feel like you're going to be sleazy when you go into this, when you start offering. But actually, what you are selling, what you have to offer is different. Is different than the car salesman who's high pressure. Is different than the door-to-door salesman. Is different. The very fact that you're here, that you're listening to this webinar, the very fact that you care about not being salesy means that you're different. I know that you have something that has a potential to change people's lives. I know this because this is the space I work in, because it's what I do, right? Teaching women how to run or grow their own businesses, start, run, grow, whatever, is totally transformational. It changes every element of their lives, and I see it happen all the time. Confidence, money, options, freedom, vacation, time with kids, time with horses, time with animals, whatever. All of that stuff changes when clients work with me. So I know it's transformational, and I know that what you do is transformational too. So you have something to offer that is going to help people so much and change their lives. But can you see that when you have a definition of sales that feels like being like pressure, you on one hand are feeling this pressure, like maybe on one side of the bridge, right? You feel like, I don't want to be salesy, so this is over here. And over here is what you have to offer and what you have that's going to change people's lives. The bridge is the sale, right? To be able to work with someone in a way that provides them with the accountability and gives of your time, and also sustains you so that you can continue to help other people. Because if you're giving away your stuff for free all the time, you can't keep doing this. So you've got to find a way to make the sale to sustain you. If you have this internal conflict, you stop yourself, and then you don't make any money, and then you don't get to help any people, and that turns into a revenue problem. And then you start to think that something's wrong with you, or wrong with your business, or wrong with what you're offering, and then you go out of business, right? That's a short summary for why a lot of entrepreneurs fail. The truth is that it's an inside thing, and it has to do with your approach to sales, your feelings about sales. There is nothing wrong with what you have to offer. There is nothing wrong with you. There's nothing wrong with your skill set. Please hear me say this. There's nothing wrong with the value you have to add to the world. If you feel unconfident, a lack of confidence, if you feel freaked out or nervous about sales, not only will you not be showing up as consistently as you need to be selling, but the people you're talking to will also feel your discomfort. They will feel if you're not confident or you're avoiding trying to sell them so much that you aren't even showing up and being of service to them. So the surprising reason that you're not selling is because your definition of sales is keeping you stuck. I want to invite you to make a decision that you are not of the old school selling modality or mentality. You are of the new generation of female entrepreneurs who are helping others to change their lives. And there are plenty of people out there who need what you have to offer. Even if you don't believe it right now, you can take me at my word, because I know it's true. There are 1.4 billion people on Facebook alone. You do not need a very big fraction of a percentage of those people to become your clients in order to have all the money you need for your life and your business, in order to be able to help others, in order to be able to give at the level you desire, in order to be able to do all the things and travel and do what's important to you and your family and your values. So the action step for this bullet point is to make a decision that you are different. To make a decision and commit to believing it, doing whatever it takes to believe it, that you are different. And so selling for you looks different and is going to feel different than the car salesman or the door-to-door salesperson. Cool? Different definition. Number 2, how to create and price an irresistible offer. I get a lot of questions about this. A lot of people don't sell. A lot of women don't sell because they say, well, I don't know what to sell. I don't know what to create or how to price it. So I'm going to give you a little bit of a discussion about this and some very actionable tips for where to get you started with selling a package that you're excited about. A package that you are excited about. Number 2, how to create and price an irresistible offer. The first question to ask yourself when you're creating a package is, what kind of transformation are you offering? Like I said, I know that you are here because you are serving people, because you want to make a big difference in the world, right? Because you have a desire to help. So what kind of transformation are you offering? For me, I help women become confident. I help them learn the tools to go from, never having run a business to running a business, or to go from running a business that maybe doesn't have as many sales as they want to bringing in sales consistently, and to becoming visible, and to be getting over their fear of maybe getting on camera, or running webinars, or whatever the case, right? Marketing, writing emails, setting up automations and funnels and opt-ins. And if you don't know what any of that means, it's fine, because you don't need to yet. It's the next stage of your business. But what kind of transformation are you offering? Are you offering helping people get healthier? Are you offering people the opportunity to get more energy? Are you offering people the opportunity to lose weight? Are you helping them to grow their business? What kind of transformation are you offering? You've got to know this first. What are the benefits of working with you is another way to ask it. What can you teach? What are you excited about teaching? When you're creating a package, it's important to remember that transformation takes time. The ahas may come quickly for your clients. Sometimes ahas come for my clients before we ever start working together. When we get on the phone and we start talking about the possibility of working together, they have huge ahas. But usually when we're selling our own services, we forget how long it took us to get results, how long it took us to really deeply implement something, right? It wasn't like a one-day overnight thing, even though maybe our ahas were. Usually, we totally underestimate the amount of time it takes someone to get results with our help and support. And it's not because of us, it's because of the internal work needed or the external work needed to help them out. Okay? So, transformation takes time. When you're creating a package, I recommend thinking about something in the 90-day region for transformation. Know what you have to offer them that's going to benefit them, and then think about your very first package being a 90-day package where you can really support someone and gain deeper levels of trust and insight, get to know them, get to know what they need, and bring your best work to them. I recommend working one-on-one with clients when you're starting out. I do not recommend one-off sessions, and I do not recommend group programs for people who are starting out, okay? I like the 90-day package. It's what I started with. It's what I still offer. It's what still gets amazing results for my clients. When you're working to this amount, this length of time together, you can totally customize to what your client needs to get them support. If something happens in the middle, they go through something and you need to change a little bit, you can, but you get to begin with the end in mind and start with some very clear goals, and then you help guide them toward those goals over a 90-day period. And guess what? They hit the goals early, fantastic. You set new goals. But 90 days is a really, really great length, in my opinion. Now, what do we do in those 90 days? This is normally the next question that I get. Okay, 90 days. Oh my gosh, well, what do I teach them? Like, if I'm working with them once a week for 90 days, seems like a lot of material I need to teach them, right? Yeah, just a second. I'm gonna get a drink. Okay, here's an easy way to come up with the content for your 90-day program. You ready? I want you to take a piece of paper and a pen, and I want you to write down the top 10 things that you believe someone most needs to know to change their life, their business, their health, whatever transformation you have in mind for them. Whatever transformation you provide, I want you to take the top 10 things you think someone needs to know in order to get that transformation, that result, and write them down. Now, 90 days usually winds up to be about 12 weeks of content. If you start with an introductory session to really support them in what's going on in this moment and customize that completely around them, and you wind up with a closing session that is maybe their next steps, a review, a celebration of how far they've come. Any additional final questions? You've got 10 weeks in between, right? You teach one of these things every 10 weeks or every week for 10 weeks. And that's your 90-day package. Simple, right? One of the reasons women come to me is because I take things that feel really overwhelming and make them simple. And because nothing is ever a stuck or dead end with me, right? Everything is figure outable, as Marie Forleo says. So that's an example. You have 10 things and you teach them. Now, because you're working one-on-one, you can customize this completely around what results they want to get. But people like to know what types of topics you might cover in those 90 days together. And those are your topics right there. Done and done. Connect them to the benefits they're going to experience. And one way to do this is to talk about what you have experienced by using these things that you're going to teach. This is the most powerful way. Sharing your story is the most powerful way to connect your ideal clients to you and to get them to work with you in a very authentic way. So what benefits have you experienced? Nobody can argue with your results either. So talk about your results, what you've experienced, and now how you're going to teach that in this 90-day program. And here are the 10 things that you're going to cover, and it's totally customized to them. And you've got a program. You've got your first program, or you've got your next program if you feel like what you've been selling hasn't been working and you want something else. How to price. How to price. What I find, having worked with many women, is that for most women, our comfort level is close to what we are making or were making in our jobs. And so if we price something along those lines, it's like we already feel comfortable earning at that level. And so we're okay, without getting too uncomfortable, to go ahead and charge that same amount, especially if you're trying to leave your 9 to 5. It can be really helpful, right? Because you're literally replacing your income. So here's how you calculate that. Take your annual salary, let's say it's $50,000, and divide it by 2. That's $25,000. Take the first 2 numbers, so 25, and that's your rough hourly rate if you work full-time. It's your rough hourly rate if you work full-time. So then it's an estimate of how many hours are you going to work with someone. In our 90-day package example, you might spend an hour with them a week. So that's 12 hours. And you might spend a half hour emailing back and forth or creating things with them, or maybe even an hour a week supporting them outside of the call. And so maybe you double that. So you do, you're spending a total of 24 hours, multiply that by 25, and you have a base rate for your 90-day package, earning similarly to what you're earning right now if you're making $50,000 a year. Make sense? So the thing to keep in mind that I do want to mention is, while most women are comfortable earning at the level they're already earning, my recommendation is that you double that number. So if you are making $50,000 a year, that you start at $50 an hour. Here's the reason. Most consultants normally do this. This is what consultants normally do. If you're a business person and you're hiring someone on the outside, not to work full-time for you, but as a consultant, you would expect to pay twice the amount per hour that you would pay a full-time salaried person doing the same job. The reason for that is that consultants, coaches, mentors, small business owners do not work 40 billable hours a week in their business. They just don't, because they're doing all the other things that small business owners do. They're doing the marketing, they're doing the billing, they're doing the taxes, they're doing the this, they're doing the networking, they're doing, right? So if you run your own business, you're not getting paid for 40 hours worth of work every week. In fact, if you can get paid for 20 hours worth of work every week, you are doing great. So if you double your rough hourly salary rate, then you are going to actually become closer to realistically replacing your income. However, a lot of people aren't ready to start there, and that's okay. That's okay. But what I know about you is that you already have the value to offer. You may not feel comfortable charging for it for any number of reasons, but you already have the value to offer. And when you're offering to help change someone's life, charging them for that means they're going to take it seriously. Because here's the thing. Something about the way that we as humans are made, we value what we pay for. Napoleon Hill talks about this in Think and Grow Rich, and countless other authors, consultants, whatever, talk about it. We value what we pay for. And the more we pay for something, the more we value it. So if someone is paying you to help them change their lives, they're going to take your advice a lot more seriously than if you were giving it away for free. So charging them is actually being of service to them, because it means that they're going to take seriously the accountability, advice, and help that you have to offer them to change their life, which is what we want the outcome to be. Everybody knows talk is cheap, and when you give away free advice, usually it just rolls right off. So you're charging so that you can make a living doing this, but you're also charging so that you can help them get the results that they want. As I said, most women far undervalue themselves. We know that women make less than men in the marketplace, and we also know in the workplace, and we also know that this translates over to being a business owner. So that's why I recommend that you double it. The most important thing, though, is that you are excited and comfortable enough with this number to sell. Because at the end of the day, if you're not excited about getting this amount of money for selling your package, or if you're not comfortable with it because you're too freaked out, you're not going to sell. You're going to hide because you're uncomfortable, and because that emotion is stronger than anything else that's going to hold you back. So you've got to be comfortable with it, even if it means undercharging at first. You need to pick a number and get it out there, because at whatever level you're comfortable, you have to start charging at that level in order to ever be able to raise your prices, right? So I would rather have you charge at a lower level and then realize, oh yeah, I really do want to be making more, but get paid while you're figuring that out. I'm all about this new model of business that is getting paid and providing value as you grow, rather than feeling like you have to have everything set up in place before you start. Because chances are you never will start, because it never all will be done. So let's just go ahead and get going with it. Once you pick your price point and once you pick what you're offering, then you got to put it out there. Which brings me to my next point, the best strategies to book high-level clients online. Here is what I have found working best for me and for my clients. I love webinars. That's the first point. Webinars. Holding webinars, one of the best strategies for booking high-level, ideal clients online. Now, as you know, I used to be a professor, so I love to teach. There are a million different ways to do webinars. You can do slides, no slides. I prefer no slides, because while I have pages and pages of notes, which is what I'm glancing down at, I'm not coming into this willy-nilly. I really like to connect with you. I really like to connect with you and be able to respond, see your comments, respond, take your questions, and not worry about getting so caught up in my slides and getting through them. So this is how I prefer to show up for you. I'm a better teacher when I show up like this. So that's why I do it, because it's what I love. If you love slides, you can do a webinar with slides. There are free tools out there to host webinars now. Easy to learn technology to host webinars now. You can create very quickly a webinar on any one of those 10 things that you think is really, really important to teach in your program. And you could get it out there on your personal Facebook page, maybe in some groups that you're a part of, and host it. One thing I often say to my clients is done is better than perfect. My very first webinar, guess how many people came? One. Guess who that person was? My mom. I did it anyway, and I learned from it. And I share that because, well, yeah, I would have loved to have more people on my webinar than my mom. She was really encouraging when I got off, so I got some positive feedback. And I learned the software in a way that, there weren't a ton of people showing up and saying they couldn't hear me or whatever. I was able to get comfortable. But if I hadn't put it out there and run it anyway, I wouldn't have gotten that comfort level to then go on to the next one, which had a few more people on it, people other than my mom. So webinars are a great way to establish your credibility. They are a great way to learn to teach. They are a great way to test, because another really, really big thing in selling is to pre-validate your idea and find out how excited people are about it. And every time I host a webinar, I can tell how excited people are about any particular topic by how many people sign up to come, right? And I get to create content, I get to share it, I get to have something that I can reshare, make the replay available. I can send it out. If I have an email list, I can send out the replay. I can put it on YouTube. I can take little bits and pieces and clips and quotes and things like that, turn it into a PDF. I can repurpose all of this content in a lot of different ways to reach people how and where they prefer to be reached. But it all starts with this one central thing, a webinar. It's possible to, and I know this is true because I have, find ideal clients that you're absolutely thrilled to be working with who sign up with you right away after participating in one webinar. They get a really good feel for how you work, how you teach, what your energy is like, what your expertise is like. Showing someone your eyes and showing up in this way allows people to connect with you and tell whether you're a genuine, authentic person or not, and whether you'd be a good fit for them or not, enough for them to reach out. So I highly recommend webinars, and I'm happy to answer any questions on webinars for you when we get to the Q&A. I also recommend that no matter what you're doing to provide value, whether it's a webinar or a PDF or whatever, you do something to provide value and then you follow it up with emails, so that you do build an email list that you can build a relationship with and communicate with. Your email list is really one of your most precious assets in an online business. And even though I ran an online business for a lot of years before I started Life with Passion, I really resisted starting an email list because I found it overwhelming. So I never did. But looking back, I wish I had, right? Now that I know how powerful it is, and I love communicating with the women on my email list. So what you do is you create some kind of valuable offer. In this case, in your case, right, it's a webinar. Like you showed up to my webinar. Maybe, you're going to go offer a webinar. This is what you call an opt-in. It's for somebody to opt in. They are going to get a valuable piece of content, something that they would pay for in exchange for joining your email list. Now, they can unsubscribe right away if they want. You can unsubscribe right away if you want, if this isn't helpful for you, and that's okay, because the right people will know that they want to hear from you and they're going to stay on your list. But the wrong people, you don't really, if you don't have something to offer them that's a value, it's okay. You can bless them and say, all right, go find somebody who can help you. That's the desire here. So walking through the webinar in this case is the opt-in. You're getting a ton of free value on this webinar that I could charge for. And I may very well turn this webinar into something that I charge for in the future. But it's more important to me to help. It's more important to me to connect with you and be able to share with you and to be able to teach and to be able to inspire you, and which I will continue to do by providing you a lot of value in follow-up newsletters, follow-up webinars, follow-up emails, whatever. Now, it's also a very good way to scale your business up because, when I started, I had 0 people on my list, right? And the first few people were friends and family, and now I have thousands of women on my list. And so it helps me to communicate and work with a lot more women and help them and inspire them and motivate them, whether or not they ever spend $1 with me. I get to do that on a consistent basis by emailing them consistently. And so that is really, really important. That is a really important strategy of booking high-level clients online, is having emails, having an email list. Another thing that's really important is finding ways to be visible. So many women are afraid of this. So many women are afraid of doing Facebook Live videos. or Periscope or whatever. I used to be a media producer, as I mentioned, a documentary producer, commercial producer, those types of things. And so I know how to appear on camera and I enjoy it. Doesn't mean I wasn't nervous the first time, because this is different than, than something that's pre-recorded and then edited. But I know that so many women are uncomfortable with this, but I also know that it's a really great way to show up as genuine and authentic to a ton of people, when that is truly what people are seeking online, is authenticity. Because it's really easy to hide and be fake online. We all know those stories. But when you show up online like the genuine person you are in person, people feel it, they relate to it, and you become someone that they know, like, and trust, which are the three things people need in order to be able to buy from you. Know, like, and trust. All right, a couple more tips on this, on the best strategies to book high-level clients online, is that you've got to be excited about what you have to offer. You've got to be excited about it. And you've got to be consistent. You have got to be so consistent, because there's a lot going on. If we're talking about Facebook as an example, there's a lot going on Facebook all the time. So people need to start seeing you. They need to start getting comfortable with you. They need to start seeing that you're showing up, that you're not a fly-by-night person, that you have value to offer, that you have things to talk about. And that's when they'll start to remember you, and that's when they'll start to think of you. They're not going to see you one time offering something that's thousands of dollars and go, yep, she is it, right? Scrolling through Facebook feed. Yep, that's it. I know, done, blah, 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 right? One post. No, not going to do it. But showing up consistently over time, maybe you will find somebody who comes across you for the first time and then goes back through all your posts and your website and realizes, oh my gosh, wow, this person is legit, and I want to talk to her. With that being said, you do not need a website to start selling. So that is not a reason not to sell. And that's why I'm not talking about it here. I have clients who book packages without a website, because we're talking about utilizing social media, right? Utilizing that platform and becoming a person of service, showing up as a person of service. All right. The simple approach to take the pressure off of you and your client, or your potential client. I want you to think about this analogy. If you think about offering your services like you're on a date, rather than like you're arranging marriage, that's going to change things. The best way to take the pressure off of you and your potential client, and to work with, to assess whether someone's a good fit for your program, your package, after they have gone to your webinar or read your emails or gotten your PDF or whatever, is to simply have a conversation. Simply have a conversation. Not a sales call, but a conversation. I call mine clarity calls, because it's about getting clarity both for you and for me about whether working together is a good fit. This is clarity for both of us. It's like going out on a date and checking each other out and interviewing each other and saying, hey, do I like you? Do you like me? Do we want to do this? Do we want to do this again? It's an open conversation. So, my clients say, like, for instance, that my clarity calls never felt like pressure to them. I'm not a high pressure person. I'm excited. I'm excitable, but that's about what's possible for them, not about like they have to work with me. Because I come from a place of believing that we all work with the right people at the right time. And if I'm not a good fit for someone, because if I'm going to work with someone one-on-one, I want to make sure they're a really good fit. It's not just about, getting paid for my work, because I'm going to be giving them a lot of my time and energy. And my time is limited, right? By the number of hours in the day when I'm working one-on-one with someone. So I want to make sure that they're going to get the best opportunity out of that time. And I have no problem saying, and I do say, hey, you know what? I think this person's going to be a better fit for you. Let me arrange an introduction. And so when you come from that place, it's not about making a sale. It's about being of service. Service, not sales. This is the overarching theme here, right? And you may have heard that before, but hopefully some of these specific examples are helping you like figure out what that looks like in reality. Service, not sales. So when I have a conversation with somebody, we just talk about what it is that they want to achieve, why they're not achieving it now, you know, what their dream life looks like, what their big goals are for the next 3 months, because my program's 3 months, and, you know, what I have to offer. I answer their questions. A lot of times, I don't do much talking unless it's to answer their questions. So it's not pressured at all. It's simply a conversation, and that's what I want you to hear. Dating, not arranging a forced marriage, right? Not forcing marriage. It's just dating. You're both interviewing each other. And that takes the pressure off of you. Because all then you have to do is show up and ask questions. And that's it. Invite them to ask questions too. Make it about them. A lot of times we get nervous because we're worried about how we're going to come across. The truth is that when you're of service, it is not about you. It is about your client. So take that in and take that to heart. How to calm your nerves and increase your confidence. This is the bonus tip. This is where you go inward and you look at what's really going on. I'm trusting that some of the things that I've shared with you have been helpful. You focus inward. If you feel like you don't have enough to offer, then I recommend you do an exercise I have most of my clients do, which is a confidence resume, where you write down the things that you've accomplished. Start from high school on, extracurricular, in school, out of school, in your jobs, you know, the things that you've accomplished in your life. If you need some help with this, ask the people who know you well. What have you accomplished? What's special about you? Look at that list. Look at the things that you've done to learn what you've learned. Maybe you've learned them the hard way. Maybe you've learned them by getting training. Maybe you've just learned them by experimenting a bunch of different things. Regardless, calm your nerves and increase your confidence by creating a confidence resume. Read that thing over before you get on a call, before you have a conversation with someone, before you write about an offer, before you create a Facebook post. And calm your nerves by reminding yourself that your responsibility is to show up and to be of service. Your responsibility is not to talk anyone into working with you. Your responsibility is to show up and be of service and help them to explore the possibilities of transformation, of the results. You already have what you need to be able to sell. You already are qualified enough. You already have the experience. You already have the tools. This is an inside job. I want you to also have some confidence in what you have to offer, because the truth is, if you're not sure what you have to offer, if you haven't created your package, if you don't know what transformation you're offering, you're not going to be able to sell it. So you've got to be clear on that too. And when you're clear on that, it increases your confidence. Confidence comes from taking action. The authors of the book, The Confidence Code, found that. It's a book about why women are typically less confident than men. The authors found that confidence came from taking action. It did not come from waiting until you felt confident enough to take action. Usually we feel like that's the truth of it, but the actual truth is that confidence comes from trying something new. So this is your opportunity to show up, to be of service, to take the pressure off of yourself, be consistent, and be excited about what you have to offer. And that's going to come across. Now, once you start getting those questions ready, you can go ahead and type them in.